And one is that it reminds me of a entity that's looking at a income statement, and all they look at is one side of it, expenditures. And if you imagine the state is the government and the income statement is revenue and expenditures, and all we do is talk about expenditures and talk about how inadequate they are, and never think about the other side of the income statement, guaranteed you're going to go broke. Guaranteed. When I was first elected in 1997, I was elected in a district that had never been represented by a Republican. I was the first. It's Reconstruction. This is an interesting district. State government is more important in this district than in any district in Texas. Senator Watts and I are not completely sure, but I think he's willing to concede it's likely that I represent more state employees than anybody on this floor. And I asked him a question, a rhetorical question back in '97. I said, why should you vote for a conservative Republican who allegedly thinks government is the problem, not the solution, and that the least amount of government is the best? I mean, that's the reputation. And they sat there and they said, yeah, why should we vote for you? And I said, because of this. Because there is a direct and close correlation between the health of the state's economy and the government that we want and the government we need. And when the state's economy is healthy, then government has the revenues that it needs to do the job that we all want it to do. And I understand that relationship. And I promise you I'll never forget it. And I don't think I have. And so the converse is true, is what do you do when the economy is not so healthy? Well, the first thing you make sure of is you do no harm to that economy. You do everything in your power to get that economy back on its feet. And the one thing that you almost cannot consider when an economy is trying to climb out of a recession is higher taxes. Because there's not an economist alive that will tell you that higher taxes will stimulate the private sector. You can't do it. You're eating your seed corn. And so that is, in my opinion, the reality that we faced when this budget came here. You cannot raise taxes on Texas businesses as they try to recover. So how do you maintain the services that we want and need in this period? This budget does it. It is a bridge to the future. It does not hurt the economy. In fact, I think it helps it. Two specific areas. On CPRIT bonds, House didn't bother to do this, but we did. We have funded an additional $600 million in general obligation bonds so the Cancer Prevention and Research Institute of Texas can continue to fight for a cure for cancer. And not only will that save lives, Senator Zaffarini, but it'll also stimulate our economy. And Senator Williams, in the transportation budget, added $3 billion in general obligation bond authority that the voters gave us, and we funded the debt service, unlike the House. And as a result of that, highway contracts in Texas will exceed $7 billion over the next biennium, and highway contracts will be higher than what they are in the current biennium. That will put people to work. That will stimulate the economy. That will help us recover. This budget prioritizes public education. It prioritizes health and human services. We do not cut services, unlike how we balanced the budget in 2003. We maintained services, and it funds the primary responsibility of government to provide for the public safety. Members, I want to thank you, all of you, for your participation today and your impassioned speeches behind your beliefs. But the people I want to thank the most are the people that have the courage to vote for this budget. Because I will not attempt and should not attribute a motive to any one of your votes. Your vote is your vote. But we all know in a general sense, I've always thought this since I started working on the budget, that this was going to be a hard budget to vote for. And that the politically safe vote for a lot of members was to vote no. That's what I think. I believe it is a courageous thing to vote for this budget. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. And that arena is getting ready to shift to the House. And for the 19 of you out here that have the courage to vote for this bill, this is my promise. I will fight for it every day, and every one of you will be in that arena with me. With that, members, I move final passage of committee substitute to House Bill 1.